Hey everyone, welcome to our webinar. We're doing a joint webinar with Excel Software Services today. I'm Eva and I'm with Acctivate. We have Lynn Thames, the owner of Excel Software Services, with us, and I'm going to turn it over to her. Thanks. Lynn?
Thank you, Eva. As she said, I'm Lynn Thames and I am co-owner at Excel Software Services. And we have been working with Acctivate for going on 10 years, I think, doing mostly custom web development integrations. And I'm just going to jump right in here. Just a little bit about Excel Software before we start. We are a family business. My father founded the company in '79, and we've worked with manufacturers and distributors for that entire time. I've worked in the company since I was 20, and I've spent my entire adult life doing software, working specifically with inventory order entry systems. So when we started working with Acctivate, that was just really a perfect niche. In 2001, we started our own branch of the company to do mostly web software and consulting. And shortly after that, found Acctivate through a client, and we've been working with Acctivate more and more ever since. Today, we're going to talk about one of our products. We have several products that we sell that sort of are all tied together, but the one we're going to talk about today is our customer and rep portals for Acctivate. The problems that we solve with this portal is mostly losing sales because your customers can't order online if you don't have a e-commerce system, or maybe you have an e-commerce system but your customers won't use it because it's not B2B buyer friendly, which has been a really big deal with most of our clients. Duplicate data entry is another thing that we've tried to address because it can cause costly errors and just a lot of wasted time. And then there is spending too much time on the phone answering questions. On the rep side, also, it's just mostly reps needing access to their account information when they're on the road and in an easy to access format, and they just don't have it. Some of the benefits of the portals is that they're always online. The data is almost real time, and I'll talk about that more once we jump into the demo. It's an affordable monthly fee, and there's no surprises once you sign a contract. You pay the same fee every month until you don't want to use it anymore, and there's no long-term contracts. It's specifically B2B buyer friendly, and you don't have to do any duplicate data entry or imports or exports of data. It's all automatic. It will use your Acctivate price structures. So however you have your pricing set up in Acctivate for customer specific pricing or cost plus or list plus, it's going to handle those. And it's going to reduce order errors, save you a lot of time. It'll work on any device, phone, tablet, computer from anywhere that has internet. And it's fully managed. So once you sign on, we take care of all of the hosting, the support, the maintenance, the updates. So with that, let's just jump right into the demo. And I got you here at the landing page. Again, we have two different portals. One is for customers specifically, one is for reps specifically, or you can bring them together and have both of them, and they really work well together also. So I'm going to log in as a customer first. And I'm using Acctivate's demo data for the Southwest Industries company. When your customer was to log in, you would actually have your own logo here, your own color scheme. And you could put your own quote or other information about your company in the sidebar if you want, or you can put an image there if you prefer. This would be your customer's dashboard. It's got a little bit of welcome. And then this is just a message that you can change whenever you want to keep your customers up to date. We've got one client using this that keeps their monthly specials posted right here and really likes that. And then this right here is a message that you can pull in from Acctivate on a customer specific level. So let's say that you can set it to any field you want also in Acctivate, where you can type in a message and that would show up right here only for that customer. Then they're going to see their recently shipped orders and their open orders down below, which is what most customers are going to want to see when they log into a portal. Just jumping into here, anywhere that they see an order number, they can click to view it, and it's just going to pop up in a box. Some of this information is actually coming directly from your live Acctivate server. Any of the detail pages, if you had made a change to this 1 second before you pulled this screen up, they would see the most recent information. Some of the other information is actually synced on a 5 to 10 minute basis, depending on your specific needs. And the reason we do that is so that we get the speed benefits from having the information local to the application, but then knowing that there can be changes or data issues when they're looking at any details that pulls straight from the Acctivate database. They can also then check their tracking number, and if it's from a carrier that we support, or we could add one if there's one that you need that we don't support, it'll just directly pull up their tracking information from there. And they can also then look at their invoice. And it's not the same as the Acctivate printed invoice, because that invoice can be customized using Crystal, but it's got the information. And then down below they have their open orders. We have a lot of open orders here because we've been playing with the data to get ready for today. And then just really quickly, they can go and look at all of their orders. You can allow them to request a edit cancel of an order, which would just basically send you either an email or a business activity to let you know that they've requested that. I'm not going to jump into that because it's just really a contact form, just like any contact form you'd have on a website. But they can they can actually go look at order history as well and search for any PO number. And as they type, it'll just narrow down so that they can find, no matter how many orders they have, they can find them very, very quickly by invoice number, PO number. Same thing for their invoices. Open invoices. If you buy a payment gateway with us, which is an extra cost because of the configuration, and you have a credit card processor, then you can actually allow them to pay their invoices from here as well. And then the most probably important thing is that they can create an order pretty easily. So there's a couple of different ways they can create an order. If they know what they want already, they could just start typing it here. For example, if I know I want some envelopes that are B10 in the Acctivate data, it just pops it right in. If I need to browse because I'm not sure what I'm looking for, or search, I can click on that browse button, and then I can look at everything by a certain category, or I can type something. So this will pull up any desk. Actually, any desk in furniture. If I was to set that to all products and search for desk, I would get desk calendars and desk. If you have images in Acctivate, they'll pull over, or there's only one image per product, but if you have it in there, that'll pull over and then show there so they can get a feel for what it is when they're looking at it. When they're on this page, though, after they're browsing, they can actually enter the quantity that they want of each of the items, and then just click add to order at the top or the bottom. And then that adds them to their order. Once they're done, they just go back to their order. All the items are there. And when they're ready, they can submit their order. However, another thing that has been useful for a lot of our clients is the ability to add a special order product. So let's say they want a part that doesn't exist. It's going to pop up and basically just tell them it's not found, that you can special order it, and they can enter a manufacturer. And that way you have now their special order request with the information that'll pull through to Acctivate. And you can turn that feature on or off depending on if you allow your customers to place special orders. Another thing we can do once we've set an order, and I'm actually going to remove this because we don't want to save a special order, is you can save an order template and just name it anything you want, and then that will save. So in the future, if I want to order the same exact thing, I can just pull up that template quickly. They can also do the same thing just from a CSV file if they get an export from a different system. So now I'm just going to put in my PO number and an order comment. And submit my order. All right, and one other thing that the customers have that is a good feature for you is on the Contact Us page. You can set up any number of topics you want. So you can accept RMAs or warning information, requests for sales demos, anything that you have that you would want to have customers be able to contact you about. And they're configurable. So once you set that up, you can add additional fields to collect the information and whether they're optional or required. So for order changes, and it also lets you put in a special instruction that would show up for that specific topic. So I'm just going to put in a fake order number, and I don't know what the date time is supposed to mean, but and the nice thing about these is that if you use the Acctivate business activities, you can specify for each different topic what type of activity it comes in as, what the priority is, who it's assigned to, and it will just automatically show up in Acctivate. Okay, and now I'm going to jump over to Acctivate if it works. And this Acctivate is not on the same computer that I'm using. It's actually an Acctivate installation in the cloud that we've connected our portal to with the demo data. And hopefully you'll be able to see that. So I've got the web store module set up. So every 5 minutes, it's checking to see if there are any new orders. And we might need to wait a couple more minutes to get. There we go. Your new order from the SE portal. And you can actually set up that message to show whatever you want. And then you can open the order. There we go. And so here's the order. And I should have left the special order in here so you can see how that comes through. Sorry about that. But it's got all the information. I didn't point out that when your customer places an order, they're actually going to get their designated price that you have for them in Acctivate. So when we jump back to the portal, I'll show you how that works. Anyway, that's kind of how the Acctivate portion works. We jump back over to, whoops, don't want that. Jump. Okay, there we go. Let's see, go back in to create an order. I think this customer does have some special prices. Okay, yes, they have special prices for based on their price code. And then some of these are set up as contract prices. There's a special discount, which would be a price that's date specific, and then quantity tiers. So if I was to order 11 of these, I would get the $355. And I think that's everything on the, actually, let's go back to the dashboard. We should see our new order. The order number. 1551. There it is right there. So here is the order that we just added. Okay, I am going to log out of the customer side and jump over to the rep portal. So now if I am an employee of Southwest Industries, I can log into, just log into myself. Okay, and now I have my own dashboard, which is going to be a little bit different than the customers. On my dashboard, I've got, we have the same ability to add custom messages up here. So if you have outside reps that aren't in your office, you can actually post notices easily through here. And then I have the ability to record an activity. And this is typically used to, especially for outside reps, to record your calls, record your visits. And it's really simple. You just type the customer name and you pick the contact, what type, and these types all come from Acctivate. So whatever you have set up for the business activity type that you would use for the activity, then you have those options right there. This would be a due date if you wanted to set one. And these get inserted, if you're using the business activities, they get inserted into Acctivate directly. So that now would be found in Acctivate. Then the next thing, we have a whole bunch of data, test data out here. But so this section, today's reminders, would be for a sales tool. Anything that has a due date, a promise date, a appointment date, or has a note or a follow-up note on the activity that has a due date of today or older. So if it was like, these are all older that are showing up, and they're going to keep showing up until you close them out or change the dates. But that would be today's reminder. So this would typically be used just for a list of your calls that you need to make and appointments that you have and tasks that are due. And then below that, you're going to see all of your specific sales opportunities. And these, again, are business activities. If you don't use the business activities, you would just see the actual order information in this portal. But if you're using the business activities, these are all the ones that are open for Pamela Smart, which is my user. and I can click on one to pull it up. And this one doesn't have a whole lot of information. They want a quote for 3 new desk and credenza sets. It's going to show any related items. The only one on this one is the customer's contact. But if you had other related items like a sales order or a quote number that were tied to it in Acctivate, they would show here. And then if you had any email communications, they would show right here. And then these would be the notes and follow-ups. There's not any, but I can add one to be due on, let's say, March 4th, all to follow up. So now on March 4th, call to follow up is going to show up in Pamela's today's reminders. And I think that's pretty much it. You can also edit an activity. You can send an email. But I'm running a little bit short on time, I think, so I want to skip straight to some of the more juicy parts, which is the customer tab. This, if you have your sales reps and Acctivate set to limited to view only their customers, that's all they'll see. If you don't, they'll see all customers, and they can just type to find the one they want. So I search for East, and I want to just pick Eastside Motors. And what I will see on Eastside Motors is their contacts. I can add a new contact if I want. Their business activities, they don't have any. I'll pull up another one in a minute. Their orders. And it's going to be paginated so that you can search. If they have a ton of orders, you'll be able to just search and find the one you want or browse by page. Any quotes that we have, they don't have any. And they don't have any special pricing. I'll pull up another one that does have prices. And from here, you can create an order, create a quote. I'm going to go ahead and create a quote for them. And usually when you're creating a quote, you know what you're adding. So I'm just going to give them a quote on a computer credenza. They don't have a special price. They have a list price. If you have price codes that you aren't tied to a customer, but you want to give them a special price code, you can actually type in the code here, and it will give them that price if the user has permission and Acctivate to override the prices. But let's just say they want 12 of these, and they're not getting a discount. I'm just going to submit the quote, and we can view it, cancel it, edit it, or return to the customer. But I think what I want to do is go pull up a customer that has custom prices so that you can see. There we go. Okay, so this customer has a contract price for F110 of $82.50, and I'm not sure what this record is, but evidently they get this product for free. And then they get this for a special price if they buy at least 20, and well, that expired a couple of years ago. So, but that's where any special prices for a customer would show. And then a quote for the customer that is open, any orders of the customer. This one should have some activities. Yep. And again, when you're looking at this on a tablet or a phone, you're going to have expanded columns so that you can see more information. And I think that's everything for there. When a rep also has access to all of the orders or the orders just for their customers, it looks pretty much the same way that the customer side did. You can look at an order. Here's the order that we just added, as a matter of fact. and the pending order page is a list of orders that have been added to the web store that haven't been imported into Acctivate yet. And I should have cleaned up this data because these are all old ones before we tied the web store module together. But starting with the ones for today, you can see they have the Acctivate order number, and these will pull off drop off after I think a day, so that if you're wondering if that order I just entered is in there or not, you can see that it was here. You don't have to wonder, is it there or did it just get completely lost? And then I think the next most, well, let's look at the products and then we'll get to creating an order. So a lot of customers use this mostly so that their sales reps in the field have access to the quantity information. This would be the quantity on hand, but they can click on any product and then see the breakdown of the warehouses, the on hand, the on PO, the scheduled, the back orders, and how many are available. And then that brings us into a sales rep being able to create an order. It works pretty much the same way as the customer side, but they can, if they didn't start with the customer page and click the new order button for that customer, they can just start typing the customer right there and select it. On the rep side, when they're entering an order, it has this little, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's right down here. It has this little notifier so that if they get sidetracked while they're creating an order and go to look something else up, they have an easy way to get back and remember that they're in the middle of placing an order. And so that just jumps them right back to it. Let's see. I'm not sure we looked at the import order templates. So I'm just going to pick one and click import, which is then going to add all the items from that list. And as you can see, this has the list price. These are the price codes for each item that we show when the rep is placing the order. For the admin users, then you'll also have, let's see if I can figure out how to, I can't figure out how to scroll this down, but you can have the user maintenance is actually what I wanted to show you. The only thing we don't automatically sync, the only data you have to enter twice is the actual users. So when your customer, whatever customers you want to have access to the portal, then you would just add them easily here. So you just pick which customer they're going to be to, and then you can give them a username or you can use their email address. And this pulled up the email address from the account. So it's really simple unless you want to change something, you don't have to. And then you just save it. That will send them an email and give them a password. We can also import users if you have a whole bunch of customers that you need to add at one time. We can import them just by getting their Acctivate account number, their email address, and if you prefer, they have a username to add that. And then there are, if I can get to it, there are options that we won't go through all of the options, but this is where you would set up all of your preferences. Email templates for order confirmations. They will get order confirmations when they place an order if you want them to. All of the contact page and topics. You can upload your own logos. This is where you can edit the, my screen's a little wonky here, but this is where you can edit the welcome message and set up the topics for the contact page. So I think that pretty much covers the demo of the system. I'm going to jump back over to the slideshow and just skip through all the things that we already went through. But one thing I wanted to touch on, though, was how the integration actually works, because that seems to be a question a lot of people want to know. So we have written a API, which is sort of a system that sits in the cloud, and it talks to the portal, or in some cases it talks to people's e-commerce stores, and then it also talks to your Acctivate database. So everything that we do, only our API actually has access to your database. So if your website or the portals were to somehow get hacked or breached, those computers don't even have access to your data directly. Only our API, which is PCI compliant and secure, has access to the actual data in your database. And the way that we give it the access is through a special user that we add to your Acctivate, that if you, depending on your uses, if you're not using the business activities, then you can just make it a read-only user, because all it's doing is reading information from your database and sharing it. If you are using the business activities or want to allow users to, your sales reps to add prospects, then we would give it permission to execute stored procedures. And stored procedures are just little mini programming scripts that are stored in your database. So you have complete control, or maybe not you if you're not technically savvy, but whoever manages your Acctivate database would have complete control to know exactly what the users can do. So you never lose control of your data. Anyway, so that's pretty much how it works. And then the portals communicate with our API through a RESTful web service. We also sell sync utilities that use the same API that will work with various e-commerce sites. But there's three things that a web portal is not. The first one, I just was talking about e-commerce sites. It's not an e-commerce site. It doesn't let you integrate with shipping companies and get shipping rates. It lets your customers select what their shipping preference is, but it does not do shipping rates. It does not do taxes. The taxes would be applied on your Acctivate or QuickBooks side based on when you're doing the invoicing. It's also not an online version of Acctivate, so it's not expected to accomplish all of the features or functionalities of Acctivate. It's meant to be a portal to give you more use out of Acctivate by putting those things that need to be able to be done in the field or by customers in their hands. And it's also not a replacement for the Acctivate WebStar module. You noticed when I was doing the order, I didn't insert the order into Acctivate. Acctivate pulled the order down with their WebStar module, and it happened automatically because I had that set on a timer. So you still would need the Acctivate WebStor module unless you are technically savvy enough to export and import, which we don't recommend. But if you are, and some people prefer to do that, then we do have an export ability that it'll export your data for you. And then some of the other products and services we have, we have pre-built sync utilities that work with Magento and WooCommerce, but we've also done different sync utilities for other platforms. If you have a web store, a custom web store, or just a web store module that Acctivate does not support because it's either old or just not very common, we can do custom web store integrations for it. We also have something called Acctivate Orders for Magento, which allows your customers through your actual e-commerce site to see their Acctivate orders, whether they were entered through the website or not. And we've done that custom for one other customer that wasn't on Magento as well. We also offer consulting, strategy, and custom development. And we'll also customize, and often do customize, the portals so that they will, meet your specific needs. And then, of course, we do website development. And I think that's all I have for the day.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I know I learned a lot. You have some great options out there for Acctivate customers. I think that this is definitely going to be helpful for everybody. We do have some questions in here, so we can go through those. One of the questions is, are there custom URLs for the portal?
Yes, you can assign a custom URL for the portal just by pointing your name to the IP address that we give you.
Awesome. So can you customize colors in the dashboard? I believe you answered that.
Yes, we have different color themes, and if we don't have a theme that matches your color scheme, we will definitely make you one and then just add it to our theme list.
Awesome. Sounds like it's pretty custom there. Do you have a payment platform for credit cards?
We currently work with Authorize.net, Stripe, and PayPal.
Perfect. And is that on the customer as well as the salesperson side? Let's say if the sales rep was in front of the customer and had the customer card?
Good question. I don't see why it wouldn't work. I've never had that asked or seen
Okay.
it, but yeah, I think once they've got the order, the invoice. Now, yeah, I think it should work.
Okay.
There is a add-on fee for setting up the payment gateways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure off the top of my head what it is, but it's not very much. But on the customer side, at least, they can pay their orders with it when they place the order, and we can pre-authorize a higher amount because since we're not charging taxes or
Mm-hmm.
shipping, we're really only pre-authorizing so that when you do the invoice, you can run the transaction against that pre-authorization through, if it's authorized.net, I know you can do it through Acctivate.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds great. So another question is, on the order search, from either the customer side or the rep side, can you search by the product ID? Does it search the detail information?
It does not at this time.
Okay.
That is actually a great feature, and one that I'm sure that we could add easily because we've done that for a couple of custom customers. So we have the API that will do it. We just haven't added it to the portal because no one's ever asked.
Awesome. So this question's interesting. Can you turn off the function to place orders on the customer portal and instead direct the customers to your web store? I think with that one, you would essentially just make it to where kind of that plugin that you were talking about for Magento, to where they can actually see the orders, right?
Yes, and yes, any of the features can be turned on and off.
Perfect. All right. So with the integration in the customer portal, how would the company recognize a new order was received in Acctivate?
So the Acctivate customer?
I think this question is more to how would the user in Acctivate recognize that an order was received?
So let's jump, I'm assuming you can still see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump back over to Acctivate. And this, of course, is just Acctivate. This is nothing I did special. But if you use the business alerts, then you're going to see it right there in front of your face if you set up the WebStore module to add warnings, which is what I did here. Another thing is that you will get a order confirmation as well, or it's not order confirmation, you'll get an order notice by email also.
Perfect. And I believe that you answered this one, but just to reiterate it, if a customer places an order on a portal, how is the sales tax calculated?
It's not calculated until you invoice it,
Okay.
which is why when we pre-authorize credit cards, if they're paying that way, we'll allow you to do like a restaurant does and um, up the pre-authorization so that you can run the transaction when you invoice.
Is that a set percentage as to how much is added on, or is that something they can customize?
It can be customized. It can be a flat fee, um, for cases where they just want to cover shipping, or it can be a flat fee plus a percentage, or it can just be a straight percentage. But you can set it up.
Gotcha. All right. Going through a couple of these, can you add kit items or build kits in the portal itself, either from the rep side or the customer side?
So we have not done a build kits. You
Okay.
can, if you have a kit, they can order the kit. And if you have something like clothing that would be different sizes, then it can be set up so that those show like in one, they show together when you're shopping, or if you add the main product, it'll let you select the sizes for the different sizes, or the quantities for the different sizes, and then click to add all of them at once. But we have not done anything yet to actually build out a kit, like to pick which products or the quantities of each product to go in it.
Mm-hmm.
Something we might do, and we could do, because we've done that with Magento e-commerce sites before, but be something to look at.
All right. So let me look through this a little bit, see what else we've got.
While you're doing that, I'm going to just go at a change of price
Okay.
so
Great
that we can
idea.
see how that data actually really does flow through.
And business activities are not required to do the order lookup functionality, right?
Correct. They're only needed for, really, they're not even needed for the customer side. They're only needed for the rep side to work as a sales tool. But they can still look up customers, place orders, look up invoices without them.
Okay. And your web portal is all mobile compatible, so you can see it on an iPhone or an Android device, right?
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
Any browser. There's some things that don't work as well the smaller your device gets, but they're made to be as responsible and mobile friendly as possible for the feature.
With the product lookup, can you do it by description rather than the product ID?
I'm sorry, say that again. On the product lookup?
So when you're adding a product, let's say to an order on the customer side, can you search for it by the description?
Okay, got it. So right now, let me pull back over on it. Whoops. Sorry, one second. Let me get back on it. Right now, you cannot. The only place it'll search by description is on the browse page, but we're actually releasing a new version any day now. Should at least be by the middle of March. And it's going to allow you to, it's going to be basically an advanced search that replaces this box right here. So you would be able to set a list of Acctivate fields that you want to include, and then it would operate a lot like
Kind of like the multi-field search and Acctivate itself?
not quite. Let me cancel this. Having a hard time controlling the screen. Let me just place this order so it gets out of the way. It would work a lot like this search. Just as you're typing, it would just bring down all of the close matches, and then you
Okay.
can click the one you want. And the part we haven't figured out that's kept it from being released yet is how to display it so that you know whether you're looking at a part number or a description or whatever. But that's just the the UX that we're working on right now, but that should be released in our next version, and it would be right here.
Perfect. So can you restrict product IDs to just those available to a specific customer?
You can. You have two ways of doing that. The first is you can just lock the customer down so that they don't have access to your catalog, and set them up with order templates, or a order template, whichever you prefer. Or you can, or we can limit it to products that have the price code that you set as their default price code. I hope I said that right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So another question that we've gotten a couple times is, are they able to see when an item is out of stock, and can that be turned on and off?
So let me just log out, and I'm assuming you're talking about from the customer side.
Yes, from the customer
You
side.
can see quantities. I'm going to log out and log back in. You have the flexibility of, I hate that my computer wants to show you all my private information. Okay. No, I do not want to save. So this is what you would see by default. You can set, like, if it's like if we have less than 20 in stock, show call for availability.
Okay.
You can also set it so that, let's say you have more than 1,000 in stock, it shows high availability. If you have more than 50, it shows low availability. If it shows less than 10, call for availability.
Okay, and that can that column essentially disappear as well if they wanted?
Yes, it could disappear if they wanted, or it could actually even show them the actual quantities if you want.
Okay, perfect. Does the special Acctivate user required by the API need to be logged in continuously, or does the API log in as the special user as required?
Great question. It's actually not an Acctivate user. It's a user on the Microsoft SQL Server database.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really log in or anything like that. It's just a permissions thing. Think of it like when you have a software that you, maybe an e-commerce store, that you have to get API keys for, so that you can access the information from outside, like Acctivate can download your orders from your web store. It's more like that, but it's on your SQL Server database, and it doesn't take up a user for your Acctivate licensing.
Perfect. That's really good to know. Is there functionality for SSO, single sign-on, with our existing online store to the portal?
We have done that for one customer. It actually wasn't our portal. It was a custom-ish version of our portal.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It's definitely something we could look at, and it would depend on which single sign-on you're using, or which. But I wouldn't want to do it without using a single sign-on service, because it's really not secure to do it linked straight to a specific e-commerce site.
Okay.
What we did before wasn't that secure, so I'd have to look into that.
Gotcha. Are credit cards vaulted, or does the portal just send a token?
We don't touch or save any credit card information. We only work with Authorize.net. We only use it with their CIM module, which is Customer Information Manager, where the credit card, when they enter their credit card information, it bypasses our site completely and gets stored at Authorize.net, and then Authorize.net sends us a token. So then when they place orders, whether it's like right now or future orders, all we know is that their customer ID is this and their token is this. We don't even ever accept them on the actual website itself. Anywhere where you see it taking the credit card information, that's either going to be Stripe or authorized.net. Just doesn't look like it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. So we'll take a couple more questions, and then we can kind of pull up the contact information again for anybody that needs that info.
Oh, before we do that, let's just all cross our fingers and hope that my price is here that I changed.
Oh, right.
Trying to think of which customer had that price code. I think it's Abercrombie. But if you have another question, you can.
Yeah, so is there a chat option for customers? So when the customer logs into the portal, can they chat with somebody, or is that?
Oh, that's a really good idea. There is not, but surely we could integrate it really easily with just adding a little code snippet to use something like Drift.
Okay.
We use Drift on our website, and all we had to do was just copy and paste their code into the header. So I bet what I'm saying is it doesn't, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. We just have to try it. Anyway, there's the price right there. Order 20 with the price of $250.
Awesome. So a couple last questions. Is there a recent products view available? With this one, I'm expecting that they're saying this from the customer portal
From
perspective.
the customer portal. So you could, there is not. We've got one customer using it that actually, whenever they release products, they insert the information in the picture of the product in the welcome message. And it shows at the top when they log on. That's probably not what whoever asked has in mind. We don't, there's a couple of other things that we don't have here that I should have mentioned. We just didn't set it up is they can, from here, they can see there's an option you can turn on where it would show you all of their previous ordered products.
Oh, okay.
And then they would show, just like if you click on furniture, you see all the furniture. If they click on that, there are no furnitures with B10. Let's try that again. It's certainly something that we could add if they put if they marked it in Acctivate, we could pull something through to where it would just be an option for recent. Those are little things that, they're really easy to add. And we have a roadmap of improvements. We're continually changing and improving this as we go. If you saw this 2 years ago, you'd be shocked at what it looks like now. So anything that we get that's an idea that is beneficial to the whole community, we usually just build it right into the product. And then because it's a monthly service, everyone gets the benefit of that. If it's something that's weird, one-off kind of stuff, then we're happy to also do customization.
Gotcha. So last couple questions. Can you edit product information via the web portal? I'm guessing from the rep side. Okay.
No.
Makes sense. And then how many customers do you have using the portal functionality currently?
As it stands now, we have 3. Most of this, we have customers that are using bits and pieces of it as part of their e-commerce. So we did our first, that's wrong. I think we have 5. I just forget about the ones that were on really super old versions. Because before we did it, we sold it for a flat fee and we installed it on their web server, and then we decided that wasn't sustainable. But most of what we've done has been, I'm guessing over the past year, we've really been enhancing it, improving it, and focusing on it instead of working on our e-commerce utilities.
Gotcha.
I did have a testimonial from one of the customers that's been using it for quite some time, and I meant to put it on a slide and I forgot.
Well, I've heard great things about the portals from the customers that are on it, and I will say that it's definitely made things a lot easier, especially on the sales rep and the customer sides, because then they don't have to worry about having that extra portal for the wholesale customers for an e-commerce site, and their sales reps don't have to remotely connect into their Acctivate system itself to just place an order.
Yeah.
And then the final question, if you're willing to talk about it, is what is the price for that monthly fee?
I don't have a problem talking about it, but I want to say a disclaimer that their prices are subject to change.
Sure.
Once we sign someone on, it's grandfathered, so we won't ever raise someone's price, and any future add-ons or not add-ons, any future features, they'll just get upgraded and they'll keep their own price. The only thing they wouldn't get at their own price is if we added a new add-on that was an extra fee. So
Sure.
if you bought it now and it was an extra fee to get this feature, then you wouldn't get it for free just because you were there originally. But right now they're selling it $3.99 for one, and then an extra $150 a month for if you get both of them.
Okay. Awesome. Is there any upfront cost, or is it just the monthly fee?
There is. Actually, I'm glad you said that, and I hope it's okay if I share a special. But there is a one-time setup fee that covers our installation and customizing the theme to match your colors. We don't customize the theme, just the colors. Like, we don't do any design work for you. But we can clean up your logos, help you with images and that kind of stuff, and then get you onboarded. And that's $750 one time. But right now we are offering a special because of the webinar that anyone that signs up on our mailing list, and I forget when the deadline for that was, will get a coupon for $250 off of that.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great.
One thing I didn't mention, and is why we have the setup fee and why it's so high, is that there is a lot of effort that we put into the actual installation. You have your own installation. This isn't a piece of software like, let's say, Trello or Basecamp or Google email, any of those. It's actually each person who gets it has their own web account. And while we manage it and we host it, it's not just one piece of software where we go in and we type in your account information and you just start using it. So everyone has a very separated experience from anyone else that's using it, which keeps it more secure and then also makes it easier if you want to pay to have something customized. It's a lot easier for us to do that.
Awesome. That makes sense. So that's all the time that we have today. Any additional questions, you can email to the email, and you want to pull that up real fast for us, Lynn, for the PowerPoint again, so we can see where we need to email it to. So info@excelss.com. You can go to their website. They're also linked on the partner directory in Acctivate, so in case you don't find this contact information here, that will all be on Acctivate as well. We have recorded this webinar, and we will be posting it as soon as we can to the Acctivate webinars page. And we look forward to talking to Lynn next time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Eva.
Yeah, absolutely. So have a good day.